The woman had already regained her sight, but her mother told her to keep pretending to be blind, and asked her to wait until the wedding tomorrow to remove the blindfold, just because her mother wanted to test Tony's character. If Tony didn't mind her being blind, he would inherit the family business. But as soon as the woman returned to the hotel, she caught Tony and her best friend in an intimate conversation. When she entered the room, they quickly let go awkwardly, but realizing she was blind, they shamelessly continued their little tricks. Tony hugged the best friend, while using fake sweet words to comfort the woman. The best friend even made her wear a strange wedding dress. The woman held back her anger, and forced herself to put on the dress, but then she heard Tony mocking her for being blind, and saying if it weren't for his kindness, he would have eloped with her best friend long ago. Then Tony left the hotel hand in hand with the best friend, and the reason the woman lost her sight was because she ran into a fire to save Tony. But to him, that meant nothing. She held back her tears, and called her father, telling him everything that happened. Then she turned the wedding into a breakup banquet. As she thought about how to expose Tony the next day, she was suddenly cornered by two thugs. They mocked her clothes, and tried to take advantage of her. The woman fled in panic, and ran into a man's arms by accident. With just one look from him, the two thugs ran off in fear. He gently took off his jacket, and placed it over her shoulders. Then he asked her what had happened. After hearing her story, he raised an eyebrow, thinking he was also being forced into a blind date, so he proposed a marriage alliance right away, and told his assistant to prepare a grand wedding gift. The next day, the woman arrived at the wedding in a black dress. Guests whispered when they saw her blindfold, but she didn't care. She stood on stage, and coldly declared she had lost her sight saving Tony. Her best friend pretended to be kind, and told her to take off the jacket, but she ignored her, and announced that this wasn't a wedding, but a divorce banquet. Tony's mother looked shocked, and asked what was wrong with her son. Tony impatiently said he would never marry a blind woman, and that today's bride was the best friend. A guest stood up to defend the woman, asking if Tony forgot who risked her life for him. Tony laughed coldly, told him to marry her if he cared so much, then loudly asked the guests, should he marry a blind woman, or her best friend? As soon as they shouted best friend, Tony ordered them to drag the woman out of the venue. She fell to the ground in shame, but right then, that man appeared.